Okay, so this is take two, people. Probably won't notice this because I'm not going to upload the other one, but I had a power outage and it cut off right in the middle of the damn podcast. So that was not cool. But anyway, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Black Megas. We're back with another sharpshooting for you guys. Say what's up to the people, Pete.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming back for episode 3.
All right, and make sure to check the links in the description. Pete's Gaming Enclave channel is in there, so you can go check him out. He's your source, of course, for Halo, for Destiny. What else are you going to be the source for this year? What's on the agenda for this year, at least?
The agenda, gaming-wise, probably, Halo. I might do Dying Light when it comes out. I want to do exclusive. The Order would definitely be playing a part on my channel, and then nice. Call of Duty at the end of the year, as everyone knows.
Yeah, always, because that's the annual thing. All right, but let's get into this and hope that this time things will run smoothly and nothing will freak out. It's been a really tough journey to get to this episode, so apologies for anybody who was waiting to see it. So didn't watch SmackDown. Nobody cares about SmackDown. All you need to know is more Big Show, Ryback, Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's pretty much SmackDown in a nutshell. But anyway, you have anything to say about SmackDown before?
I never have anything to say about SmackDown. I never watch it. As I said in our last take, anyone that can sit through that show for the full 3 hours, I just got to give them a round of applause, because honestly, I can't do it. This show's meaningless.
Maybe it'll get better now that it's on Thursdays. Yeah,
maybe
move the day.
Definitely not. Look at that optimism.
I mean,
but moving to Raw. Before we actually talk about it, I actually spoke. It's Booker T on commentary. We agreed that he wasn't the right man for the job. He shouldn't have slid straight into that commentary position. To Jerry the King Lawler, basically wish him all the best in getting well from his sickness, recovery quick, hopefully, so I don't have to listen to Booker T on commentary anymore. But
I seriously think they're gonna make a change next week. I think they're gonna find someone up.
Yeah, but Booker T just didn't work, and like you're saying with Booker T and JR on commentary, Michael Cole would have been having a nightmare.
It's very true.
It's just the WWE. They didn't really. I don't think they put much thought into it. I think they just saw Booker T on the outside. He was in the back, and they're like, "Yeah, we need one more."
Because I think they do like a pre-show thing on the WWE Network. At least when I had it, I remember that. That's probably what it was. It probably was like, "Oh wow, the King's sick. You're here. Come on, just try not to mess it up too bad, please."
And he butchered the whole thing. But Raw starts how it did every other week. John Cena in the ring. This time he had the whole roster behind him. And the Authority made their quick debut. Not debut, but return on Raw. And they were talking. And really, like you said, it hit a massive restart button on 2014. It's like they're playing a game and they're going to go down and do a path and see how WWE turns up. But the main gist from this whole segment, which of course it's an opening segment with John Cena on Raw, it goes for 15 minutes at least. And the conclusion was Seth Rollins has been now added to the triple threat match.
Which
Brock Lesnar said.
Like, I really wish they would find another person to throw in there. I mean, you don't need a triple threat match. Let's be honest. It was fine. Nobody really is that hyped for Cena, Brock, but it's just it works the way it is. That's how it is. It should have stayed that way. Mr. Money in the Bank should not be involved in that matchup, because now what do we do with the briefcase? Where's it gonna go? And like I was saying the last time, the only way the briefcase thing works for them is that if Cena wins, he could cash in on Cena, and that'll propel us into the rivalry that we didn't really get last year, where when it was Ambrose and Cena beefing with Rollins, they decided to go down the road with Ambrose and put Ambrose on and let Cena, do his thing with Brock, and then the whole authority
Yeah,
drama and all that, and they, had the Ambrose Rollins feud. Now we're rewinding ourselves back to late summer 2014, and instead of Ambrose getting the call, it's Cena's turn now to beef. But that's the only way I see him being in there factoring out as a, I guess, sort of positive for him, a win situation for him, because
yeah.
the match does nothing for him in my mind.
But yeah, like I said myself in the last recording, it really there's only so many logical ways the WWE can go about this, and Seth Rollins personally, it doesn't make sense him winning this triple threat because, like you said, the briefcase will be meaningless if he's holding the title. John Cena, I don't think that he will win at the Royal Rumble. That's just me personally. And I think the only logical way this match ends is Brock Lesnar either gets disqualified. Wait, I think in a triple threat there's no disqualifications. I don't know if that's right, but
That's a good question.
it's either it is Brock Lesnar has to win by some way or another. He wins, keeps the belt, and he goes to Mania because he beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. No one can forget that. Like, I understand that it was a year ago, but that is a massive highlight. He has a lot of weight behind him. So that win is taking him to the main event of WrestleMania this year. Regardless of what happens, it's just who his opponent is and how he loses the belt there.
Yeah.
That's my personal thoughts on that. But I really didn't think the Authority were going to do it, but they said they were thanking Seth Rollins for getting them back in power. And Triple H really doesn't play games on Raw. Like, he just comes out, he talks, he sets up matches. I actually don't mind having Triple H in charge. Like, the Authority gig is terrible. Like, I don't like when they're together and they're out doing their thing. But backstage, Triple H behind the show, obviously it's working on NXT. He's the manager over there. He's great with the talent. But on Raw, he just straight away he's like, all right, Dolph Ziggler versus Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship, which is honestly that's actually a pretty good match.
Yeah, not
On
a bad
paper,
match.
that's a great match.
Definitely. I like the concept of the match until the false finish, and then Kane comes out, and as the director, he goes the whole, "Oh, I forgot to mention this is a two falls, 2 out of 3 falls match," and
Yeah.
of course he says it immediately after Wade Barrett goes ballistic and beats the hell out of Dolph Ziggler, which I honestly didn't see coming either, because didn't when they brought Barrett out last episode, it seemed, maybe it was just me, but it seemed like they were trying to like give Barrett a face turn when he showed
Yeah,
up.
I thought that as well. I didn't think he was going to be a heel, but they changed
Yeah.
him pretty quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess with a superstar like that right now, so like he's actually getting quite a big prop, which I'm surprised by. But I guess right now they have room to move with him, so they're just going to experiment both ways and see what happens.
Yeah, that was strange, but then he comes out, he does his thing, he takes out, and Dolph does his overselling as normal.
Yeah.
Dolph, I need you to stop acting like every time you get hit, you're like at the edge of death. It's kind of getting annoying to me now to see him. I always thought he was one of the best sellers, but now he's just so way over the top with it. It's just like, come on, dude. At least act like you got some type of strength, some type of resolve. Like you're just not a whipping post for like
He gets beat up.
three-fourths of a match. Yeah, it's like 90% of the match. He's just getting destroyed, and then he does his the heart of the champion thing, and he's just looking like unstoppable for like that 10%. It's like, come on, he has to learn how to balance that out because it's just like, come, dude, stop
Yeah.
it.
But from there, Wade Barrett won the title, which
Yeah.
honestly shocked me. That actually shocked me. Like, I really didn't think they were going to rush. It seems whenever Ziggler gets a title, it does not matter what title he gets.
No,
He
he doesn't
loses
do that
it
for
as
long.
soon as he gets it.
Yeah. And again, let's hit the reset button again because before he got his hands on the title, Wade Barrett was the champion, and then he had to go out for surgery. So now it's like, okay, the first half of 2004, has been we've reset back to the summer of 2004. Now we can proceed on with the new story. It's like, come on,
Okay.
come on.
But that match, it actually wasn't that bad because
Yeah, it was.
I was actually interested in the match. That was actually a really good match for me. But from there, it went to the Ascension, obviously the new tag team. They're showing a lot of dominance right now, especially how the WWE is shaping them. It's probably because it's the first genuine tag team they've had since the Usos. And the Usos have been recycled so many times that this Ascension group looks like it's coming for the tag team titles. And you genuinely want to see them push for those tag team titles because it'd be good matches, the Ascension versus the Usos. I reckon they'll make great matches.
Oh,
But they
definitely.
versus absolute no names, which you said you liked.
Yeah, I like because it's how they used to build people back in the day. I mean, no one ever fought the top people just off the bat, and you kind of can't make a claim or make a statement because normally people like that, like with Bo Dallas, things like that, you end up in a situation where you don't face anybody who logically you should be able to beat by having you go against all these stars. Either you force it upon people and just have you just come out of nowhere and beat all these like established wrestlers, or you kind of end up being buried and have to live off gimmicks to keep your name in the conversation until they can finally, find a way to kind of make it seem like it's sensible for you to beat these
Yeah.
guys. It's like who has Bo Dallas really beaten since he's been up?
Cool. I
You
didn't
know,
even
you
Bo
barely see
Dallas.
him wrestle.
I haven't seen. Yeah, that's it. Like he'll probably make an appearance at the Royal Rumble just to make numbers,
Yeah, because he's there. But yeah, it's like,
but he won't do anything.
yeah, like other than the Shield and the Wyatt family, I can't think of anybody who came from NXT that has actually
Made an
been
impact.
introduced and like made an impact. And
I
I think
mean,
by having these guys go against a couple of no names for now, especially since you don't really have a tag team division anymore. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That'll help at least get their faces out there and get people to know who they are, and then maybe start bumping them up to like the Los Matadores because nobody cares about them. Um,
uh,
Maybe have them face Stardust and Goldust. That might get them some attention because they're a good tag team. But uh, they just need more tag teams, to be quite honest. If they were more tag teams,
it's such
they
a
could make a bigger impact immediately. But tag teams
it's
so
a
dead.
dead division. But going back to superstar, the only other superstar, well, not even a superstar, be a diva that has made an impact would be probably Paige, being she was 2-time women's champion. That's the only other
Yeah, the
wrestler
first
in general
NXT.
that
Yeah,
has come up and actually made an impact. But like you said, they got to build the tag team division up because it was such like I know a lot of people right now don't like the tag team division, but if they saw the tag team division from back when the Hardys and stuff were wrestling, these tag teams were actually great to watch. Like you actually wanted to see a if there's a group of good stables and they can verse each other, bounce off each other, it goes a long way in the WWE. The tag team division where it is now is terrible. There's no interesting tag teams. Like that's just the honest truth. But hopefully the Ascension come up, they start bringing more up, and we get to see more tag teams be established and ones that actually make sense. I hate tag teams that don't make sense. I hate them.
Yeah, we'll get to that kind of in a little bit.
Uh,
With another match.
but as always, the next match always has to be the Roman Reigns Big Show. What can we say? They verse every week,
Okay,
and
yeah.
yeah,
First, let me just say this. WWE is wasting a lot of money on Roman Reigns. They've hired acting coaches for this guy. And the promo that he did talking about the like faster than a speeding bullet and all that, that was terrible. It was painful. It was really, really painful to listen to. It's like, what are you doing? They need a personality coach, first of all. That's what I think they need. That guy has like no and maybe it's just me. I mean, I know a lot of people love Roman Reigns, but
is very popular at the moment.
yeah, I don't understand why he's so popular. He's horrible on the mic. He can barely carry, his weight in the match. I mean, when the Big Show has to carry you through a match, something's wrong.
Well, the Big Show, everyone complained that he was lazy. So yeah, that does say a whole lot about Roman Reigns if he's getting carried
Exactly.
by the Big Show. But with Roman Reigns, I think it's just his size that is really the draw. Like Vince is he's obvious he's going to push size. If someone's big, they're getting a push, and it's mixed reaction. You're going to be big and get hated, or you're going to get big and get liked. I guess Roman Reigns is on the lucky side, being related to The Rock.
Right.
But
True.
honestly, that match was shocking, and uh, I don't know how I felt about Roman Reigns getting the clean win. Like I felt like, okay, so at the end of the day, everyone needs to understand with this whole feud, it's getting set up for the Royal Rumble. It's just going to be a big
Yeah,
moment in the
that's
Royal
all I
Rumble.
see is that they're going to be the final two, maybe final four,
Or
and
yeah, something like
he's going
that.
to have to take out the
The
Big
Big Show.
Show. So, I,
But then when you thought Raw wasn't bad enough after that, they bring out the Divas, and the Divas have been shocking lately, and it seems like it's only Nikki Bella versus Natalia every week. I think that's the only
yeah.
match the writers know how to come up with
Which
anymore.
brings a good question: where's AJ? Are they burying her?
I think, I don't know, maybe taking time off to go with Punk, do his UFC interviews, get ready for his first fight.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that they were upset that she wanted to do that, and so I'm curious if she's on the like negative side.
As long as she doesn't end up on Total Divas, her career should be fine. The minute she goes on that show. But that match was so stupid. It just the whole okay. So Nikki having Brie on sideline with Natalia having Paige, and then Paige turns on Paige and Brie start fighting on the outside, distracts Nikki. Natalia gets a roll up and win, and then Paige comes in and starts beating everyone up. Says this is my house. It's like, okay, so you're pushing Paige now. It's like, what are you doing? What have you just done to Natalia? Natalia is finally genuinely making a push for this title, and now
Yeah,
you're throwing Paige in. It's like, okay,
yeah, no, they
who
then
looks more
I don't
likely to get
know.
a title shot now? Honestly, right now in this position at the end of that Raw, it looks like Paige is the one going for the title, and Natalia was just there. And
Pretty
that's not how it's
much.
been.
Yeah, and that Natalia probably should get a shot, although it's not a match that a lot of people are going to look for. Nikki can't be champion any too longer. She's got to lose soon. Maybe that's what they're setting up to drop it back to Paige, which I guess I don't have a problem with. If you don't have AJ around, Paige and Natalia are probably your next go-to people. Um,
The only
with
thing
I guess you
with
could throw Naomi in there too, but they're still
the,
trying to build her
yeah,
up.
the only thing with Natalia that's really lacking from her, she is great in the ring, but her mic skills are so poor. With Nikki Bella, overall she's a boring champion. She doesn't
Yeah.
like really do much talking that I've seen. She can barely she's just an average wrestler. I would say that average. She's not great. She's not the absolute worst that I've seen,
Yeah.
but she's far from the best on the roster. She doesn't really offer anything to the championship. Paige is probably the most fitting at the moment. Like you said, Naomi's another one that I would like to see win the championship. That's why the Divas division is so uninteresting to me, unappealing, because they really don't know how to or which Divas to put basically as the champion. It's like that championship is just there just for the sake of being there. I think it all goes back to what Vince said, where the titles don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, it clearly does with the Divas. They need to have them wrestle. Get better wrestlers. Again, bring up the girls from the NXT. They're great wrestlers,
And they're right there.
And I honestly think they need a Divas Tag Championship.
There's enough Divas to support it. There's enough Divas to support that tag team.
That way you can at least pair off a couple of people and get them out there. Give them a chance to be out there and get some exposure, because like you said, it's the same thing. It's, Natty and Nikki, or it's Paige and AJ, or it's, it was the Brie and Nikki thing for a while. It's like they don't seem to want to like build any type of rivalries or any type of spark in that division. Most of the matches that you see that aren't like continually repeated, they're just made up out of nowhere, like the situation that happened later in Raw with Naomi and AJ Fox.
Yeah, but
Alicia Fox, sorry.
Yeah, going to the Bellas, a lot of people really do think at WrestleMania it's going to be Nikki versus Brie. Now, if this happens, it's again the Bellas turn when Nikki turned on Brie the first time at SummerSlam. That was probably one of the best diva moments I've seen. Mm-hmm. How they handled that feud after SummerSlam was one of the worst handlings of a feud I've ever seen. But, honestly, you saw the crowd's reaction when Nikki hit Brie and then Stephanie won. Okay, that was a great heel turn. It's probably, in terms of divas, it's probably the best I've seen a heel turn happen.
Yeah.
It was clean. It was unexpected. But, within a week, everyone was sick of the feud because of how the WWE promoted it. It wouldn't make sense to rejuvenate this feud, relight it, reignite it. What are you going to do? You're going to get Brie to attack Nikki now and say that she wants the title.
Yeah, and it's like there's no predication. It's like you built this whole... If they would have, honestly, as bad as it was, if they would have left things the way they were, it would make more sense for that to happen at WrestleMania. But now with Brie supposedly all in again with her sister and all about family, it's just like...
Yeah, blood is
thicker going, yeah. So why all of a sudden now it just dissipates? It makes no sense. So I don't know.
I think we
wasted too much time talking about this.
Yeah. the Divas division just frustrates me because I feel like if I had the control, I feel like from where I'm sitting, I could make better Divas matches in 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, it would be just like TNA. They would have some great matches like the TNA knockouts. That's what it would be if it were.
They are crazy over there.
Or at least go back to the Trish Stratus days. Those were pretty good days.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, they need another Beth Phoenix. I think that diva really does help the division, like having a Beth Phoenix in China, that sort of diva, just a big dominant one.
Yeah.
Right now, the divas division is just all like petite girls.
It's all sex appeal. All sex appeal.
But we'll leave the divas there. Hopefully next week they give us a match other than Nikki Bella and Natalya. Hopefully we can wait and see. But from there, it went to Eric Rowan versus Luke Harper with J&J Security as the special guest referees. But first, because I've completely missed this whole scenario with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. How did the Wyatts actually split? Because I wasn't watching wrestling at the time.
It was during kind of a hiatus with Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt hadn't been doing much. He set them free.
Okay, so
And then
that's
he went on hiatus, and that's when they just started to do their thing. You know,
okay.
'cause
And now they're on opposite ends of the fence. That's how the WWE is pinning them. It's like Eric Rowan's the face, Luke Harper's the heel.
right.
Why do they have no chemistry when they get in the ring? Why don't I care when they fight? Like I felt like when good stables, when they fall apart. Okay, for example, Rollins versus Reigns. I genuinely care when they fight.
All right.
When they fight, I want to see it. But when I see Eric Rowan get in the ring with Luke Harper, I couldn't care less.
And that's
I
because
can't understand it.
it's the way that they set them apart. There was really no build up. There's no um reason for you to care about them other than, oh yeah, he was Team Cena, he was Team Authority. That is the only. That's the backdrop for them. Is that they were just on the opposite side of the fence of a fight for which, personally, to me, that made no sense either when they both got dropped in on the whole Authority versus Cena thing because again, why? It's like everybody else in the whole Cena versus the Authority thing. Their reasons for being in it made sense. They had a real issue with the people who backed the Authority, as well as the Authority. On top of that, Big Show had his gripe with Mark Henry. What's his name? Dolph had his issues with the Authority because the Authority was always, dogging him. And of course, I guess you could throw Luke
Ryback was
Harper
in
in there.
there.
Yeah, Ryback was in there. He had his moment. They made sense of his being thrown in there. Everybody had like their reasons. Luke Harper just showed up and said, "I'm a team guy." Okay, good job, Luke.
Eric Rowan felt
Eric
like
Rowan.
they needed one more like the commentary scenario with Booker T. It feels like the exact same with Eric Rowan. They saw him and they were like, "You'll make a nice addition to the team. Get in here, champ." But
Yeah, exactly.
the whole thing with that match was you knew the outcome. Whenever there's a special guest referee, you know it's going to be some dodgy work. But I feel like with the whole Eric Rowan Luke Harper thing, the thing that you're seeing is that Luke Harper is up here and Eric Rowan is down here. That's
Yeah.
how they're split. I mean, I've seen Luke Harper wrestle outside of WWE when he could do Hurricane Ranas and stuff. That's incredible for a guy his size. But he could if they had again another feud that they've let go to waste, and honestly the time's ticked over. They had to do that quickly. If they were going to push for a Luke Harper Eric Rowan feud, it had to be straight after the Wyatts.
It should have happened. Yeah, exactly when Bray Wyatt let them go, and they were trying to find their way, and then they just decided, we got to, they should have built some type of animosity between them back then, because
Yeah, like they hated each other, but Bray was keeping them in line.
yeah, exactly, something like that. There's no real heat to their matches except for this is just two big guys that used to work together. That's it. And I
Oh,
kind of wish they would put them back together because, again, going back to the tag team division, there's no one there, and they could have held the belts. They would have been really
yeah.
good champions.
They're actually not a bad tag team, to be honest. But
No.
Luke Harper won as expected. I really didn't see Eric Rowan winning. He won with that clothesline. He gets out of the ring to the ramp. J&J security start trying to beat up Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan pushed them off, and then he cops another clothesline because Luke Harper ran back. What this does with them, oh God, I don't know. But probably the next match, which I'll say is match of the night and most meaningless of the night. This feud has no relevance. It is literally a time waster, and it's sad to see because these are some of the best matches I've seen on Raw in a long time. They have such great chemistry, but the matches don't mean anything. You can say
I
that
think you skipped one. Did we talk about the Usos?
that's after the Bray Wyatt.
Really?
Yeah, so yeah, it was
after.
Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose in an ambulance match. And then
Not
I'm
that
pretty sure it
ridiculous
was
that came after. Why
they
would
had
you?
to
Yeah.
they had to calm down the crowd after that.
Bad, 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 bad. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, first ambulance match on Raw. I think that's what they said. Honestly, I don't like the ambulance matches. For me, I've never been interested in them.
There are
I
too
don't know
many
if that's just
gimmick
me.
matches, but in this rivalry too. That's the problem. I really feel like you said, they're time wasters, and I think they help waste time by just having these guys do the most ridiculous stuff and abuse themselves. You know, just to fill time. I mean, let me see. Their first match was a straight up match until Dean snapped and threw all the tables and chairs in. Then we had a TLC match, and then I guess that wasn't enough. So what was the
Miracle
next
on
one? Yeah,
34th.
the Miracle on 34th Street fight. With the Christmas theme stuff. Okay. Then you have the
They fought on Raw, on
yeah,
SmackDown a few times.
well, no, it was a match at the tribute to the troops thing. What was it
Oh
called?
yeah, I
Like a
don't know the name
bootstrap
of the
match or
match.
something, some other gimmicky type of match. They did that.
They're basically having extreme matches, and like we just said, they are time wasters. It's disappointing because Bray Wyatt, personally, I want to see him push high. He is someone I can see going for that championship. Like, he creates such a good story. His character's great. He's good in the
Right.
ring. I don't see why he's fighting Dean Ambrose. I don't see what this does for any of it. It seems like the way it's heading, Dean Ambrose in his career is going to be a US championship maximum, and Bray Wyatt is going to be someone that goes up for a title, gets knocked down, and he builds stars up. So he creates a great feud. Like, honestly, the promos they're cutting for this Ambrose Wyatt matches, they're actually really good promos.
Yeah.
They're great promos, but what does if one wins, which they're obviously not doing because it seems 1 week this guy wins, 1 week that guy wins. If one of them end up winning, what I don't see what it does for any of them.
Yeah, it's
It's not
like,
going to
what's the
get them
next
up.
step? It's like, congratulations, you beat um each other to a pulp. So now
You
the
don't get
next
a
step
title shot.
is, yeah, because he's not in the neither one of them are in the neither one are in the conversation for a title, period. That's the really absurd thing about this, is that through all of this, none have ever been involved in any matches where there was something on the line, you know?
Yeah,
Just
but
bragging rights. That's it.
that's it. And I was actually surprised that they let Bray Wyatt win this. When I was watching it, I honestly, from the get-go, I'm like, okay, Dean Ambrose is going to win this. That's how they're going to go about it. To my surprise, two Sister Abigails later. One was actually really cool. I think it was on the door of
Yeah.
the ambulance
That
truck.
had to really hurt.
He, like, honestly, Bray Wyatt does some of the most extreme Sister Abigails. None more extreme than at the Royal Rumble last year, where he gave Daniel Bryan the Sister Abigail of a lifetime when he did it onto the railing. I don't
Oh
know. Do you
yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
I thought he
No,
died. I
he does
thought
it
Daniel
brutally.
Bryan died.
He'd be brutal with the Sister Abigail.
He's going to
But
be controlled. Someone's going to stop him. Your
I
Sister
think he knows
Abigail,
what
you
he's
on a
doing, though. I
chair.
think he knows how to. I think that's one of the reasons why they have him and Dean Ambrose. They're the only two right now that are really doing these type of matches. Because if you really pay attention, no one else does a lot of these crazy things that these guys do. And I think WWE has no problem letting them do what they're doing, because I think they know how to make things look as violent as possible without being that dangerous. You know what I mean?
But I
I think
feel
they
like
both know.
I feel like we need more. I want more superstars that can do more violent matches. Like, I don't want every time we need a violent fix in the WWE, they're going to send out Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose.
Or yeah,
And he,
or one of them versus whoever, so they could take like the huge shots, because that's kind of what Bray Wyatt has been. You look back to his thing with Daniel Bryan, and how he helped put Bryan over even more. Bryan was going to be over regardless, but that whole thing, him being with Wyatt
the
family,
Wyatts.
that helped. He took a lot of Wyatt took a lot of punishment in that. The Cena thing, those were some of the best matches I've ever seen John Cena in. And they had like a level of brutality that you weren't used to seeing in a Cena match. It seemed like it was a real fight for Cena in those matches, and you don't necessarily see that
He
from
bring
him.
out the best in Cena's character, because Cena's character is always been the whole never give up, keep fighting.
Right.
But in most fights, you never really feel like Cena's at a point where he has to give up. But with this Wyatt thing, how they built that storyline, it felt like Wyatt was coming over, and Cena
Right.
actually had to fight him off. And it's just storytelling. It's Wyatt can make a story with you. He can push you up and beyond everyone else. He can push you to higher levels. When
Yeah,
you
I
said
agree.
the Bray Wyatt Daniel Bryan thing, where Daniel Bryan finally turned on Wyatt in the steel cage, you saw the crowd. They went ballistic. That was the loudest
Exactly.
I've seen a crowd be ever. And it took Bryan to new heights. And what I've got to say, like, I want Wyatt to be up there. I don't want him to, every time he pushes someone up, he goes back down and has to grab another person and start lifting them up. That's just not
Yeah,
how I want it to be.
he just seems like that's his position right now with WWE. It's like, I need you to make this guy, like, honestly, I believe that he is probably the only person who could make Roman Reigns look really, really good in a match. Because Roman Reigns, his ring work is horrible. And him being bad on the mic, having him have a rivalry with someone like Bray Wyatt, that would help him a lot, because Wyatt can talk his ass off. And Roman Reigns wouldn't have to say anything. That would help Roman, but it's, at the same time, I don't want Bray Wyatt to always be that guy. I need you to help us make this guy,
I think,
over.
I think at this time, Wyatt, like, he's really, I think him personally, he's not a type to complain to WWE about the writing, simply because he had the run with Nexus, then he was Husky Harris, and he's multiple times with no success. Now he's found a character he's going to basically push. If Bray Wyatt was his first character, I think that he would talk a bit more to the WWE, telling them, like, look, push me while I'm up. Because Bray Wyatt is only going to, it sounds terrible, but he's only going to stay this high for so long. Use
Yeah,
him while you can. Use him while you can, and definitely get something out. But this match, the ambulance match, was my highlight of Raw, and it's probably been my highlight of the last, like, few weeks. Like, they're the only matches I genuinely, like, when they come on, even though they mean nothing, I'm still kind of excited to see them wrestle, because I know they're going to
right.
go
Because they're gonna
right
go
into it.
like hardcore with it, and I think one of the reasons why he's probably not complaining is that, despite him just being, a, like, I guess the best way to say it is a glorified jobber, because that's what it
Yeah,
kind of turns out to be. It's like he's just that build up guy. He's still extremely popular. I mean, people love Bray Wyatt,
they do.
regardless of his.
You
I
see
think
the
that's
crowd with the light.
yeah. Like every time he comes out, people are really into the character. They're really into his thing. So it's a weird thing. I think that's why he probably wouldn't be that unhappy, because he's done something you don't really see. He's basically done what people like Zack Ryder could never do. He could just be a guy who, like, can be beaten up but still be loved.
And still be taken seriously.
Yeah, he's actually taken seriously. He's not a clown on the roster like a Curtis Axel or something like that. You know?
Yeah, but they need to work out what they're going to do with that feud and quickly because I don't want to see this throughout all of 2015. But I'll let you cover the next match, which would have been your favorite for the night with the Usos.
No, that would not be. So before the match, they showed some before Raw backstage thing where Alicia Fox, doing her duty as a new member of Total Divas, plugging the show, talking to Naomi about sorry I took your space and all of that, blah blah blah. Now the thing that made this all like even more weird to me is that I recall a couple of weeks ago, was it on the pay-per-view, the last pay-per-view? Weren't they on the same team in like a 6-man tag match?
I don't think they know what Alicia Fox is. That heel face diva. She's whatever they need her to be on the day. That's it.
And this day she was the heel because she pretty much beat up Naomi. To say she just out of nowhere. I forgot what she said. Something about I didn't come here to be nice or I came to beat you up. It was just really stupid because it's like, where does she fit in this whole Ms. Dow Usos thing? Nowhere. So they just conjured up some bullshit, threw her in there, and now you're in the match, against the Miz and Ms. Dow, and I guess they're gonna continually sell the drama of Jimmy and Naomi, because the match was the usual. Naomi came out, beat the hell out of Alicia. Miz came in, wouldn't let Miz Dow in, didn't want him wrestling. Honestly, so please figure out when you're going to split these two up, because I need Damon Sandow to actually wrestle and not just be the goofy clown. I admire him for taking the role and running with it, but I really need you guys to just let him wrestle now. I'm through with him just being missed out. It's over with.
Yeah.
But anyway, they had the whole crazy quote unquote crazy finish, where Jimmy was about to go to the ropes to hit the Miz down, but he saw Naomi was still on the rope, and he stopped himself, and then the Miz rolls him up, pulls his tights to get a cheap victory, and all of that. And just whatever.
It was a shocking match, and as we've said since the podcast began, they're the only two tag teams that are doing anything really on Raw. It's always the Usos versus Miz and Miz Dow, and it's just however they can recycle that match and add a new way of looking at it, they're going to do it over and over. That's why I'm happy that the Ascension have come to hopefully stop that. But that match is one that you really don't even want to talk about simply due to the fact that, again, it just wasn't interesting. The only interesting thing was that backstage segment. And it was interesting because it didn't make sense. So you were like, what? What just happened? Why is she attacking her? Can the WWE just answer the question, is Alicia Fox a face or a heel? Just give us one. Don't give us both. I don't want to.
If you want to continue with the she's crazy angle, fine. But you can do that in a sensible way. Kind of like with Paige, she has no friends. And she, so, okay, I understand that. She just has no friends. She's not for this side, that side. She just wants to be on top. Fine. I can go with that because that's kind of in the way you think of it, like a Stone Cold-esque type of thing. With Stone Cold, he was a face because people loved him, not necessarily because he was trying to be a face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did because he didn't care about anybody. He would stun anybody in a moment's notice. You know what I mean?
He didn't care face or heel.
Yeah, face or exactly. He's just like, I'm the best, and I want to prove I'm the best, and that's fine.
And people loved that. People actually genuinely loved not knowing who he was going to stun. He'll stun your favorite wrestler. He'll stun the absolute biggest heel on the roster. He'll stun the boss. It didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. So do that with Alicia if you want, you know?
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't mind seeing that. It
but
gets
yeah, just
something
stop
out of
throwing
Alicia.
her into at least because she's annoying right
She
now.
is annoying.
Very annoying.
But again, it's like we have so much to talk about the divas, and I just don't know. Like, divas, as I said when we were speaking about the Nikki Natalia whole thing, it's too annoying. It just boils your blood because there's so much they can do with that division that's not
Yeah.
being done. I feel like the creative writers are just. Are there any creative writers for the for the divas? Is there actually? I feel like someone just last minute. He's like. He sees a little card. He sees like the little booklet that they hand out at the WWE events, and he sees who's there, which divas are there, and he's like, "All right, these two over here, these two over there, and we're good."
Yeah, I really think that it's just an afterthought. I think they build every other match, and it's like, oh yeah,
We
we
need
do have
divas,
to do divas. Okay.
and they get squeezed in at the weirdest time slots. Like you said, after an ambulance match, the Usos come out.
Yeah, like that's not the Evans match was the height. Nobody cares about the Miz, and I really need him to go away. They need to find another movie to put him in ASAP. The Miz is boring. I never liked the Miz when he first started. I never understood how the Miz
I like
got
the
like.
Miz. I like the Miz when he won the title. He was my favorite wrestler at the time. When he won that WWE Championship, like I'm not even gonna lie, I got his shirts upstairs. Like
Oh,
that was
that's
when I
bad.
went to the WWE here. But legit, once when he won that title and he cashed in on Randy Orton, it's probably one of the highlights. But I don't know what happened to him. It's like they built him up and he lost at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I couldn't,
don't need him. I don't need him in my
but
life.
but right now he's gone. Just go with Maurice. Just do your thing. Honestly, you got Maurice. You don't need the WWE anymore.
Yeah,
But
go
honestly,
do your movies and be the A-lister, as he likes to call himself. Whatever.
yeah.
Damn it.
But like after that, it was Ryback versus Seth Rollins, and then
Yeah.
Kane forgot.
Okay. Yeah. See, this is people seriously. Help. We need to like figure out a way to set up like a website where people could donate storylines. That way we could take storylines and take match ideas and we could give them to the WWE for charity. Because this whole situation was so, like, first of all, Ryback, Seth Rollins, why are we having this match anyway? I mean, I guess you got to make sure Seth Rollins gets his face time because he is, a major player and all that. You pushing Ryback, okay, that's cool.
I
I
can
don't
take
know
the
why.
match. I can take the match. I can't take why Kane. Why is Kane still a wrestler? That is, he's in the best shape of his life. Don't get me wrong. Right now, he looks bigger than he has been ever.
Yeah, he looks
Like
good.
more built, but he's lazy. He's extremely lazy in the ring. He has he has nothing to offer the WWE anymore. I feel it's just because he's served the WWE for so long, they're keeping him around. But he is
Yeah.
at the point where he offers nothing. He's bad storyline wise. What is he? Is the director or something?
Yeah, director of operations or some bullshit like
That
that.
it doesn't
Just let
work,
him do
and
that.
it was a shocking match. It was a shocking handicap match. And it ended the only way I thought Seth Rollins has to be getting pushed right now, and he did. It took 2 curb stomps though, and they talked up Ryback, the first man that wasn't knocked out by the
Knocked
Big
out
Show's
by
punch.
Big Shows, yeah.
It's like, okay, Ryback is crap. He's not going to do much.
Yeah. but you know they've been trying to build him as this like mega star for the last two
Too
and
long.
a half years.
Too long.
It's like they keep trying to find an angle to like push him to the top too,
And
and
no one wants to accept him. No one wants right back at the top. Like no matter how hard WWE try to push, it's just he's not getting brought over by the fans. But you want to talk about like weird lineups? How we spoke about the ambulance match and the Usos after this handicap match, which would be considered a big match, having Seth Rollins and Ryback. It goes to Adam Rose versus Big E.
yeah,
Who mapped out? Who honestly sat there and wrote? It's like, okay, so we've had. It's basically like, okay, for example, say Brock Lesnar was returning on Raw. It's like he returns on Raw, beats up John Cena. The next match, Nikki Bella versus Natalia. That's how it feels. I feel like they put no thought into the right. Who schedules these matches? Who positions them? Needs to be
and
fired.
I think that's a sign of a company that doesn't really have a plan because I remember back in the day when Raw was on, you had a lot more matches that had meaning, and it kind of built up. It was like you went from the non-title matches to the mid-level match, title matches, intercontinental, what have you, to the big finish, like at that time, which
Yeah.
was either the tag team or the WWE Championship. But it always went on an upswing. Even if it wasn't about the titles, it always went, the upswing of the matchups too. The
Yeah.
lesser people came through first, as we talked about and built up these great matches that were coming, and then you get to that great match, you're ready. You were ready for the ambulance match at the end. You're ready for, you know, Seth Rollins, Ryback, if that was going to be the main card or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They prepared you for that. Now it's like we go this way with Dolph and Wade Barrett. We go down here with
The ambulance
Eric
match.
Rowan. Yeah, you know,
It,
go down with the Eric Rowan, and up with the ambulance, and down with the Usos, and up.
it's like
Nah.
it's sort of like, it feels like WWE are the type that, okay, so look, they open a show with a title match. The next match will be like a ladder match. Then you have a Divas match over here. You have a tag team match over here. You have a pointless match in the middle, and then you have the main event. Which for the last few weeks, it's been talking.
Yeah, yeah. It's always ended on a
And
verbal note.
I never wanted to, like, Adam Rose is one of those guys that when he did that heel turn against the Bunny, okay, I was sort of interested in him, and he versed Big E, okay, whatever. But Adam Rose, I don't care about him as a wrestler at all. But it was, I mean, unless you can talk about the Rosebuds, the ones that
Yeah.
interfered.
Well, first, let me just say this. I like Big E. I like Xavier Woods, Consequence Creed. I love them in
Kofi.
DNA. Kofi, I've never been big on, but he's okay. I
Yeah.
need the New Day stuff to stop, though. Seriously, the New Day stuff is kind of a ridiculous, thing.
Dancing thing.
I hate to say it this way because I try not to, because somebody else I know who watches wrestling, they pointed out at first. I was like, no, maybe not, but it's kind of becoming borderline racist with the three happy-go-lucky dancing black guys coming out here to gospel music. It's kind of getting like that kind of.
You sort of look at
Yeah,
you
it's
sit
like a
there and you look at it
throwback
and you're like, are they really doing that?
Yeah, because it's a throwback like to the '80s era where they really didn't know what to do with black people in wrestling. So they would just find like something, not stereotypical. Like I love the Junkyard Dog. Don't get me wrong, but he was kind of a stereotypical. Okay, you know what I mean? Or like Coco Beware type of thing. You know what I mean? It's reminding me of that type of stuff. It's like I think we've moved past that. Where we've had people like The Rock and stuff like that. You know, be the Bobby Lashleys and things like that. The Shelton Benjamins have like really good runs. They didn't need those cheap gimmicks. Why do these guys need that? It's wrong, and they're good
It
wrestlers.
is.
Like if you can't, you can find a better way. If you want to make them a stable, fine. I'm all fine with them being a stable. I
At
just
least let
don't
them
like
push
the
them for
way
the.
they're doing it. You know what I mean?
You know why I don't like how they're pushing it? The biggest thing is the fact that they're pushing the New Day as singles competitors with basically two on the outside. It's like this stable, Big E, Kofi, Xavier Woods, you can get these three wrestlers to split into two and go push for the tag team belts and have them rotating their team that way. And at the end, it does make for a good... It makes for a good storyline if you ever want to break that stable up. One person's getting jealous.
Yeah.
Because
Um,
you say they got it under their wing.
They probably should have went with their first thought, and I really thought that the reason for them not to, and it's kind of funny because the rumor was they were supposed to be the new nation of domination,
Oh, God.
but and this is where I find it hilarious that this is the way they went with it. The reason they said that they like nixed the whole nation of domination thing was the Ferguson shooting where the cop shot the young black kid. They felt
Yeah.
like that would have been racially insensitive to have three angry black militant guys. And I'm like, okay, you find that insensitive, but three happy-go-lucky dancing minstrels, is it?
It's like they're treading a very fine line, WWE. A
They
very
really
fine
are.
line.
They really are. And it's like these guys just wrestle. You want to put them together as a crew, have a crew of boys who are cool, down for each other. Fine. I'm with that. You know, people form stables like that all the time without necessarily having to be a gimmick. You know, it's like just a bunch of wrestlers who have mutual respect for each other who, you know, end up being a posse.
Yeah,
That
they don't need to. They don't need to dance.
Yeah, they don't need to have matching outfits. They could still be their individual selves, but be together. This is just being done really, really wrong, really badly. And it's like they're not getting anything from the crowd because the crowd doesn't really want to see that.
They get less of a pop than the Lost Matador.
Yeah, and it's like, and honestly, I kind of don't blame the crowd because I would be sitting there like, should I be cheering this or should I not be cheering? Because I don't know how I feel about this. Even if I don't like the wrestlers.
I really want to go back to the first Raw when they came out. Like when they're like, okay, this is the new tag team, and they come out dancing, and you see Big E, Kofi, Xavier Woods. You can imagine the crowd. They're like, "What?"
Yeah, I remember
is
the
this?
first time they appeared on SmackDown, and it was just like dead silence.
That's what it would be, because I'd be like, "What the hell?" Big E was portrayed as a dominant force. Now he's dancing, and he sweats profusely, as they like to say.
Yeah, well,
Kofi,
like I like the fact that they make fun of his sweating. That's cool, but you don't have to do it in this setting. Like,
but Kofi as well. Kofi, you know, honestly, Evan Bourne and Kofi, I actually like their tag team. Before Evan Bourne did what he did, I actually really like that tag team. I thought that was a good one. What was it called? It was called like something Boom.
yeah, what was it called?
Air Boom. That's it. That should be it. Air Boom. But that was actually a good tag team. Kofi, he seems like he's the wrestler, as I've said to everyone I've talked to WWE about. Kofi is he's a temporary champion. He's held the Intercontinental countless times. He's held the US a few times as well. He's a really mid-table wrestler. Like he pushes for an Intercontinental belt, he wins it, he goes back down again.
Yeah.
And Xavier Woods, good wrestler. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Probably won't do anything in the WWE.
Yeah, they don't know how to use him. They really have no clue with what to do with him at all.
But then the Rosebuds appeared.
Yeah, so okay, so Big E's fighting Adam Rose, and he's kind of getting the best of Adam Rose, what have you.
And before you
And
fall
then,
asleep,
yeah, and then you get two guys in, these tight suits that are reminiscent of the Blue Man Group.
the morph
Uh,
suits, I think they're called.
yeah,
Morph suits.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they just punish the New Day. They just beat everybody up in the New Day. And then you see Tyson Kidd unzip his mask, and then like Cesaro has to do the strongman thing. He doesn't unzip his mask; he just tears it open, and screaming. And I'm like, really, really. So I don't know. Mark my words, you're going to see the New Day versus Adam Rose and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. If it's not a match that you see on a Raw or SmackDown anytime soon,
It's heading to Royal
it's
Rumble.
gonna be on the Royal Rumble in some capacity, whether as a dark match or it's gonna be like that in the middle, like before the
Yeah.
Royal Rumble lull match.
Yeah, it does make sense having the 3v3. It'll be a six-man tag. It lines up well. I mean, as you said before we even started the podcast, Tyson Kidd's basically here to stay now. Now that he's got
Yeah.
that push into the roster, he's certified he's in. Lock him in. I'm still going to be watching. I'm going to be watching Total Divas. I need to know what they're trying to do on the show to get him up. I need to know why he's so important to this Total Divas slash why they're doing what they're doing with him. Like, I can't understand it, because I understand. Okay, so from the few episodes of the Total Divas I've watched, John Cena can't act at all. Daniel Bryan's the worst actor of them all. The Usos are bad. I guess Tyson Kidd is the only one that can act half decent, and he only acts well because he doesn't even appear. He appears sometimes, and it's like he's angry at Natalya. That whole thing, I'm just curious to see how it goes. But I'm glad there's another tag team out there. Again,
Yeah.
hopefully it sticks. Hopefully it's not like a 3-week thing, and then they're like, okay, Royal Rumble's over. They split. Because if they split, Cesaro's going to crush Tyson Kidd.
Yeah, and maybe that's their plan to get Tyson over as a face eventually. I don't know. I just, God help me, WWE. Really.
Whatever happened to Titus O'Neil and
He hasn't really
Darren
shown up
Young?
lately.
And
Well,
Darren
Titus
Young.
O'Neil, you'll see him on like main event or superstars, SmackDown sometimes too. um, he kind of fell off after Heath Slater pretty much messed himself up, because remember they were trying that whole Slater Gator thing with those two. But Darren Young got hurt, and it's been a while since he came back. A lot of
I know
people
that,
speculate that he's the bunny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people think they're gonna make him be the bunny when the bunny's finally revealed and comes back.
Maybe.
I
I
don't
don't know,
know.
because I know that Darren Young actually did announce that he was in real life he's actually gay.
Yeah.
So I knew that, and a lot of people were scared with the fact that when he announced it, straight after he announced it, the primetime players, they split. And a lot of people thought WWE were going to slowly over time edge him off the roster, because a lot of superstars may be uncomfortable wrestling him. So I hope he does return as the buddy, because you don't want to see someone get kicked off. Like, someone finally comes out in the WWE, and then they're just being kicked off the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen articles where he said that they didn't seem like upset about it or anything like that. But one of his fears has always been they were going to try to draw it into the storyline, and I don't think they'll do that, because I don't think it'll benefit them at all to do that. To like throw the whole, hey, look, everybody, he's a gay wrestler. That would be probably the corniest thing that they've ever done.
It would kill his career. Just let Darren Young do him. Let him, if he's the bunny, let him be the bunny. If he's coming back as a wrestler, let him do that. To the main event, and this is the whole Authority closed the show. They come out, and I'm pretty sure they're using Triple H's music with just like some hideous font in the background that says the Authority. And this was stupid. The John Cena Appreciation Night, they called John Cena out. He comes and Triple H is thanking him, saying that he saw something. At first, he talked to Shawn Michaels. They agreed he was shit. John Cena was shit. And then Triple H saw something before anyone else did. And that's why he pushed Cena so hard. Good God. Good God.
It was bad. It was bad.
I think Cena summed up all our feelings when he said, "Are you done yet?" That was how I was feeling. It's like, this is cringeworthy. Don't do this. And then they started calling out Team Cena. They called out Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback to the ring. And that, again, it felt like they didn't know.
Coming. At that point, you know, it kind of got predictable once they did that.
Yeah, they Triple H and Stephanie are thinking of punishments for these three superstars, so they start with Eric Rowan and they say that he was just kind of thrown into it. He didn't really put much thought into it or that. He's going to get a 30-day suspension. Then they're like, if we give him a 30, we got to give Ryback, the man that was on our team and then turned on us, he's got to get a 60. And then it's like Dolph Ziggler, blah, blah, blah. He's going to get a 90 for being the one that, like, was the one that ended the Authority.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we got to go talk. And by talk, they mean walk up the ramp. And they walk to the top of that ramp, and then Stephanie, Triple H turns and he says, we've thought of a decision, passes it to Stephanie. Stephanie says, like her dad, you're fired. You're all fired. And you can thank John Cena. And at that moment, I really thought they were going to attack John Cena. Raw ends.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad they didn't attack him because I was actually expecting for Triple H to say, if you want your job back, all you got to do is take out Cena. And then they all go against Cena. But no, they're fired. But see, this messes up some things because weren't you building Ryback versus Rusev? What happened to that now?
You got that. You got Ziggler still has his rematch for the Intercontinental Championship.
Exactly.
The only one that it doesn't matter for is Eric Rowan. I mean, he could leave and WWE would not be affected in any way, shape, or form. I feel like there's going to be something. I don't know how long they're going to drag this out for. I don't think it'll be too long. It'll be.
I think it'll be resolved before the Royal Rumble.
Has to be.
I think they're all going to end up being in the Royal Rumble for one.
Yeah. They have to be. I can't see Royal Rumble without Ziggler or without Ryback. They just both have to be in there. Royal Rumble. Yeah. Before we wrap it up, I just want to say, we asked questions last week. Who is your surprise entrance for the Royal Rumble 2015? Who do you think makes the special return?
Oh God. Who are they gonna bring in to get thrown out? Jeez. Who's out there? You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Hogan ended up in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I'm like Hulk Hogan.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hogan ended up in there. Who's been in the well? Goldust is gonna be in there because he's been in the last 20 Royal Rumbles or something like that, right?
I think he's been a fair bit. He's been in quite a lot.
I think he hasn't missed a Royal Rumble in 20 years. So Goldust is naturally gonna be.
And on top of that, which WWE superstar that's injured and currently not wrestling, which one makes their return at the Royal Rumble? Because there is a few names being tossed around.
I mean, Bryan already said he was going to be in there. But Daniel Bryan is a lock already. He announced that himself.
That they could have Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, I know he says he returns, but they might not put him in. So they got Daniel Bryan. He could return. Sheamus is looking very likely.
Sheamus probably will be back. Randy Orton probably might make.
You see that? There's another name. It's like they're starting to add up. That Mark Henry, I haven't seen Mark Henry since.
Yeah, haven't seen him in a while, so he might show up too. I can't think of anybody else though.
I
What do you
really
think?
got to look at the roster. Me personally, I would say Sheamus. Sheamus looks like he's going to come in like the late 20s. His music's just going to
Yeah.
hit. Does Bryan make it into the Royal Rumble? I hope so, because I really want to see him return. But I could see him it's basically like he told everyone he'd be there, and then he's not there, and then he talks on the mic on Raw. He's like, I couldn't make it.
If he's there, it'll be cool, and he'll make it to the final 10, I'm sure. But he's kind of not in the conversation. Oh man.
I love how open WWE is right now for the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is always at its best when we literally have no idea who will win. When Cena returned, I knew Cena would win. When Cena did his return in 2008 and he won, I knew 100% Cena was winning the Rumble.
Yeah.
Like, you lock that in. He came in.
I mean, I still say I think Reigns is going to win it, but it is a lot of options this year because, Bryan is extremely popular.
Yeah, it's so open simply because you got Rollins, Lesnar, Cena. They're all outside the Rumble. You got the big names for the WWE title at the moment. They're not in the picture for that Rumble. That's why it's so open. Like, the only names that are really sticking out is Rollins. They'll obviously push the Big Show. Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Ryback has to be in there. Ziggler will make it pretty far. They usually put Ziggler in
I heard
early.
Rusev had announced that he's going to be in it, so.
Oh, good God. He's not. Yeah, he'll get
He's not
eliminated.
going to win it. He's not. I mean, but it's. If once they bring back Ryback, it at least sets up that rivalry in that match as well,
And now,
they can go out and have their little spot during the Royal Rumble.
yeah. And now, we should finish by asking the question, how was the first episode of Raw for you in 2015?
It's horrible. Didn't care for anything that they set up. And it's funny because you just said like the whole outcome of the Royal Rumble is up in the air. At this point, the whole Royal Rumble is up in the air as far as I'm concerned. All I know is that we have a triple threat match for the championship. Other than that, there is nothing set up for this. They have no build, no drive to anything. The one matchup that they did have a drive towards, they've just effectively destroyed with the Ryback Rusev thing. That was the only other thing outside of I guess you could say the triple threat, and maybe I'm hoping that this wasn't what they were pushing to, but you may get Reigns and Big Show in an individual match as well at the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Those were the only three matches I could see on the card. Where are you going now? What's the matchups? What are we watching? Before
They'll do it like a week before. With the
and that's so lame.
The podcast for the Royal Rumble. I don't know if we're going to go with. We might go with a podcast for the Royal Rumble and then one for Raw. We might just combine Royal Rumble with Raw. We'll just get out that. But is there anything
yeah, I think we should do one before and then one after.
Yeah.
Do a predictions episode and then do
the
aftermath and see how that goes. That actually would work pretty cool. Yeah, I like that idea.
Get that. Yeah.
But anything else that we need to cover in this show that was Raw?
It was upset me enough for him right now to just.
I know. It's bad enough that they put on a horrible show and they did a lot of retreading, but they didn't have to end it with Stephanie and Triple H kissing. My God, we had to see that. No,
It's the weirdest. When she kisses, she makes his face. It's like scrunches his
Yeah,
face. Like,
it just looked really nasty. Like, oh
but
no.
the one peck, I was like, okay, you can do that, that's fine. But the fact the camera went to Cena and then back to them and they did it again, I'm like, "Damn."
That was disgusting. That was disgusting. But that's it for that bullshit. I guess we're done. Thankfully,
Good book
amazing
came
how
out
we
on
can
Raw.
actually entertain you guys by talking about an unentertaining show. You guys should like this podcast more and watch it more, promote it more, because we've actually brought some entertainment value to one of the worst Raws I've seen in God knows how long. I tell you. Hey, but anyway, closing remarks. Go ahead, Pete.
Never ever bring Booker T back on commentary. Get some better writers. All in all, just thanks to everyone for watching and supporting the podcast. Episode 3 already, we're flying. But yeah, thanks for all the support. Keep watching, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Feel free to come back next week where we hope we get a better show to talk about. All right, guys. We're out of here. See you later. Peace.